On the 26th of December, we packed a car and headed south, 750 kilometres to Dubbo, to take in the local sights and spend some much needed time with family whom we hadn't seen for quite some time. This is our journey to Dubbo. Looking for a break and a chance to stretch our legs, we stopped at a rest stop off the Newell Highway about half an hour southwest of Coonabarabran. After a short walk, less than 100 metres from the car park, we stumbled across what we later found out to be called Hickey's Falls. I have tried to dig up some history or interesting facts about the falls from the internet, but the only thing that I could find is a Yowie sighting from 2010. But I'll leave that one alone. I can just imagine how stunning the falls would look after a good bit of rain. We spent quite a bit of time here taking in the falls. It's hard to believe the place exists just 100 metres off the highway, completely invisible as you drive by. After a cold drink, a bite to eat, and way more filming than what we anticipated, we finally got back on the road and made our final push into Dubbo. After a couple of days of rest and catching up with family, we ventured back out to see what Dubbo had to offer. We spent a considerable amount of time driving around and taking it all in. I just couldn't help but send the drone up so I could capture it all from the air. A drone does tell a story that can't be told from the street. The district around what is now Dubbo was visited in 1818 by the explorer John Oxley, and it received its first settlers in 1824. Dubbo, founded in 1841, was an established village by 1849. It became a city in 1966 and is the trade centre of an area producing wheat, livestock, timber, as well as fruits and vegetables. It is a major rail and road junction 410 kilometres northwest of Sydney. The town of Gilgandra lies 65 kilometres north of Dubbo and is the home of the Cooee Museum. During World War I, recruitment marches to state capital cities were a feature of the volunteer recruiting drives for the Australian military in rural Australia. Between October 1915 and February 1916, 9 marches were held starting from various points in the state. The most notable was the first march from Gilgandra, known as the Cooee March. 25 men left Gilgandra on the 10th of October 1915 on the Cooee March, led by the captain of the local rifle club, William Hitchin. At each town on the route, the marchers shouted "Cooee" to attract the recruits and held recruitment meetings. By the time they reached Sydney just over 1 month later, on the 12th of November, the numbers had swelled to 263 recruits, marching a total of 320 miles, or 510 kilometres, and being welcomed by large crowds along the way.
On centre, a still picture is Cooee's march from Gilgandra to Sydney. Hundreds of men, women, boys and girls, all cheering and waving flags.
Councillor Barden made a stirring speech to the men who heard the call of Dardanelles. Won't you come? Quite a few tears were shed by the mothers, sisters and sweethearts left to carry Rudolph.
And we led the parade on our horses.
You, me, Hilda and the 2 Dorothys, and behind us, 25 brave Gilgandra men. and 10 more joined later.
I thought Dorothy did well to make it as far as Pomeroy. Nellie could go to Southwark, and we rode them as far as Balladora.
The licensee at Balladora, Mrs. Johnston, quietly went amongst the men and gave each of them a pound note to buy something in it, by a little bit of the war.
The papers followed our police progress all the way to Sydney, with everyone in the district followed them forth.
The march was 100 strong by Wellington. The girls there were as welcoming as those at all the towns along the road. One of the Gilroys wrote home that they received the best of country food and kisses from even the married ladies.
In Orange, they were greeted with rain, but the welcome was no less fervent. Corporal Hunter was given a letter from the line.
My darling Lily, it is sad news I have to tell. Your two brothers, who left Sydney with the 18th Battalion, killed in action on August 27th. Try to bear it, as your mother and sisters are trying to do.
The raging bushfires in the Vineyards, and by spring week, over 300 men were marching.
5 weeks, 28 towns.
320 miles they marched.
Hitchens Cooeys marched into Martin Place on the 12th of November, 1915, passing under 50 arches of blood-red roses, held by groups of wounded soldiers. Of the 31 Cooeys who served overseas from Gilgandra,
24 of them.
The Japanese garden in Dubbo is recognised as being one of the most authentic Japanese gardens in Australia. It was gifted to Dubbo by its sister city, Minakamo, in Japan. The abstract and highly stylised miniature landscape is a distinguishing feature of this style of traditional Japanese garden and is full of religious symbolism and cultural references. The garden was designed by students from the Kamo Agricultural and Forestry High School, cementing a commitment to growth of understanding and friendship. Work on the garden began on 25th of February 2002 with the planting of the first cherry trees. The groundbreaking ceremony was performed by a Shinto priest, Mr. Toshiyuki Hasab. The garden was officially opened on the 23rd of November 2002, the 153rd anniversary of the founding of Dubbo and the 13th year since the establishment of the sister city relationship between Dubbo and Minakamo. The new entrance gate was constructed in March 2013 by Japanese craftsmen and is one of the finest in either Australia or Japan. We found the garden to be a very peaceful and relaxing spot. A great place to sit down and watch the world go by. Enough of my waffle now. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy this amazing garden. So we've just stopped for a rest in the shade at the Japanese Gardens in Dubbo. Thought I'd take the time to introduce you to the star of the show, my son Tyson. He's been doing a lot of work behind the camera. Say hello, Tyson.
Hello.
Give us a wave, mate. Special shout out goes to the man behind the camera. Tyson was putting a huge effort to film what he knew would make Dad's shit show look that extra bit better. One of those jobs that usually goes unrecognised. Well done, mate. Solid effort. As the sun sets on our last day in Dubbo, we head into town to see in the new year. We understand there is much more to see, much more to do, and are already planning for another trip.